Meherwan. Would you tell about the time that you went to Baba when your family took the train to Baba?
Speak louder.
The time that your family ended up taking the trains to join Baba when you weren't supposed to? It was you were supposed to wait for his call and you went ahead?
Yeah. That that was when we were in Bangalore in 1942. And it was the war time. The war was in full swing, and from one side Germany was overrunning the whole of Europe, and from the other side Japan was overrunning most of East Asia, China, Burma, and all these places. So the situation had become extremely grim. And we were there in Bangalore, and a lot of rumors were there that Japan would very soon invade India, because they had come right to the borders. They had captured Burma, which is now Myanmar, and they were right on the borders of India from the eastern side. And there was a great scare that they might start bombing big cities. So a rumor was given out that Bangalore would be bombed. So the populace in Bangalore took fright, and there was a mad rush of people trying to rush out into the open to avoid being bombed. And the whole city seemed to evacuate by nightfall. We were there, we just stayed where we were, and it was just a rumor, and then people started returning, and all was back to normal again. We had all these air raid practices, air raid signals would go. We had to shut out all the lights, get back into our houses as soon as possible whenever these sirens sounded. So all of these drills were being performed. And the thing was that my dad was in Ahmednagar at that time, here, at my uncle's place. And when he read about all this happening in our city, he somehow panicked. And Baba was at that time in Dehradun. He had ordered us to stay in Bangalore. So on his own, he wrote a telegram, "Come immediately and join me in Dehradun." That was the telegram he sent, and he signed it as Mer Baba. And he sent the telegram from Ahmednagar. So and Dheeraj was residing with us at the time. Baba had kept him there with us. So then, and we also were quite ready, because we thought that Baba would give the call to us, and we would have to leave immediately. So all preparations were in hand. We had packed up everything. We just kept a few clothes, and we were sort of ready to leave at short notice, thinking that Baba might give the call. That's how the situation was. And when the telegram arrived, then Meheraj quickly swung into action. He bought railway tickets for us. It was very difficult to get railway tickets because all the trains, all the trains in the country were requisitioned for military use, hauling the military and taking the troops, ammunition, war materials, and the Indian Army personnel and all that. There was, most of the trains were just requisitioned by the army. So very few trains were left for civilian transport. So somehow he managed to get tickets for all of us. And then he arranged to get my school leaving certificate from the school, and off we went. So when we boarded the train, it was really packed when it arrived in Bangalore. So somehow we got into one railway compartment through the window. One after the other he was pushing us in. And we got dumped into this huge long compartment. There were many people like us wanting to travel. So in all that crowded compartment, we were another addition to the whole thing. And there was a lot of resistance from the crowd inside, but somehow we managed to squeeze in, and then he jumped in at the last. And all the baggage that we had, that couldn't get into the compartment, so it had to be put in the luggage van. They had this facility of excess baggage had to be put in the luggage van, and the railways gave you a receipt for the number of articles that you put in their charge, and then we could collect them when we reached destination. So we could take only a few little belongings in the compartment itself. So we got in there, and then the train started. And when we reached Hyderabad, which was a big, and Hyderabad and Secunderabad were the twin cities. So there the train halted. It was a big railway junction. So the train halted, and we were there. And then what happened was that we could not be hitched on to the next train. Or the people who were wanting to go north to a particular destination would be attached to different trains, from there. So while our connecting train, there was no connecting train there. So we were stuck there for about 3 days. So, but 3 days and nights we were just there, lying in the compartment and having a nice time, just making the most of what we can do there. All very crowded, but they all began to accommodate each other. And eventually, our compartment got hitched to the train that left for the north, and we started our journey. And then the train went ahead, and we reached Delhi. When we reached Delhi, it was all very dark. There was a scare that Delhi would be bombarded. So there was a blackout. So it was all dark when we arrived, and we had to change trains at Delhi. So we got all the baggage on whatever little we had on a cart, and we had to catch another station. We had to go to another station to catch the connecting train to Dehradun from there. And there was no train at that time, so we had to put all our baggage at the station, and the next train was due to leave the next night. So we had a whole day at Delhi. So I remember Meheraj took us sightseeing to the city of Delhi, and we visited several places like Qutub Minar, the Red Fort, and other places. So then the next evening we were there at the station. Our train arrived, and at 10 the night we boarded the train for Dehradun. And the next morning we reached Dehradun. But when we had alighted at Dehradun, at Delhi, Meheraj realized that the luggage van did not get connected with our train. So it was lost in transit somewhere. It went off with the other train. So we were left with the little baggage we had, little suitcases, bedding rolls, that is all. Next day, we alighted at the station and got hold of a cart and walked the way to where Baba was staying. When we arrived at the ashram, there was Meheru's aunt, Sunamasi. She was on watch. So she sees us suddenly at the gates, and she said, "How come you all are here?" So Meheraj said, "Baba asked us to come, so we have come." So she goes inside and tells Baba that they all have arrived here. So Baba looked very surprised. He says, "How come they are here? I never called them. Ask them to come in." So we all troop in, and Baba was in a very nasty mood. He says, as soon as we came in his presence, he said, Who asked you all to come here? What was my order not to leave Bangalore until I send the order to do so. Why have you come here? So Meheraj said, Baba, this telegram came from you. So we came. Baba said, show me the telegram. So when he showed it to Baba, he gives it back to Meheraj and says, see where it has come from. See the date of, the place of origin of the telegram, and it was Ahmednagar. He says, how come I haven't sent this telegram? Meheraj didn't notice that in the haste, So Baba said, didn't you have the sense to see whether it was from me or anyone else? You just rushed like that? So Meheraj said, yes, Baba, it's my mistake. Fine. So now, get lost. I don't want you all here. Go back. Go back. Where? Go back to nowhere. Because we had left the place, we had given charge of our rented house to the landlord, and we had lost all our baggage. And he says, go back. So we just turned round and started to go back. And we went outside the gates and were standing there wondering what next to do. We thought we would just go somewhere and see if there is any asylum for poor people to stay, might stay, and see what we can do about what to do. And we were in a real quandary, which way to go. The city was new. In the meantime, Baba clapped and sent word that call them back. So we went back inside, and he says, you all have come on my chest like this, and I'm mighty displeased with you all. And now, what are you going to do? So he said, Baba, whatever you say. So he says, all right, get into the ashram, and I'll see what to do with you all. That's how we came there.
Where was the ashram in Dehradun?
It was some little road or something. Forget the.
Oh, that was near where Franny was staying. So near where Franny was staying, I think she was on.
No.
Right there.
So how many days did that whole trip take you?
What?
How many days did the trip take you in all
To come there? About 5 or 6 days. We were stuck at Sikandrabad for 3 days. Then
And how long
were 3 days for traveling. The trains were very slow then. They were all driven by coal, steam engines. Yeah. And we were all covered with coal dust and mire, not bathed for many days. And what a mess we were in.
Which year was it?
No clothes, no spare clothes, nothing. So all the women there took out their clothes and gave it to us to wear. I was wearing Mani's blouse. I changed. I was a tiny tot then,
Oh, right.
Then who sent the
You might-
telegram?
Huh?
Telegram કોને મોકલેલો પણ
My
ટીવી
dad, Papa.
કે અહમદનગર આવો તમે
नहीं, मेरा बाबा तरफ थी. Come immediately and join me.
અચ્છા બાબા તો
But yeah, that's right. So Baba said that he didn't send the telegram. So who sent that telegram?
Papa. It was found out later.
But he was in Nagar?
Yeah, he was in Ahmednagar.
And he signed himself Meher Baba.
Yeah. He had the cheek to do that. he had to pay the price. Anyway, so we were the first refugees in the world, I think.
So you...
Totally displaced, not knowing where to go, where we are. But we were right where we belonged, actually. Yeah.
So, Meherwan, who was it? You, Raj, and Grandmama and everybody?
My mother, my two
Sis-
sisters, myself, and there was Sarwar also.
Okay.
I think she was with us. Yeah. Sarwar, you know, Franny and John.
Right, I know Sarah.
Franny's mother.
Yes, I know Sarah.
Yeah. So she was with us. Baba had entrusted her in my mother's care, and she went to school along with me. So she also was with us.
And this all happened in 42 while the war was going on. So
What?
displaced people, because it was the war situation, yeah.
So,
That you all displaced.
huh?
So many people displaced in Europe at
Yeah,
that
yeah,
time.
that's what happened.
Meherwan, but you have to add, let them know how all these years Meherwan would tell the stories he's telling you now.
Say it loud so they can hear.
All right, then I'm going to add another thing, and that is that Erich would say that the reason Papa did it, sent the telegram and signed it as Baba, was because he knew that the family wouldn't listen to him and just go. They would only obey Baba because Baba told them to stay in Bangalore. So the only way to do it would be to sign it as Baba, because he knew if he signed it as Baba, they would immediately go. But the more interesting thing was one day, maybe in the last year, I think it was, one day Meherwan and I are here and he calls me over and he says, "Did you know this?" And there's a notation where from Chanji's diary, Chanji had made a notation that he was with Baba, and this is before the Jessawalas arrived in Dehradun. And Baba says to Chanji, "Gee, how will Erich manage with all the trains, being overloaded and to get to Dehradun?" So the truth is that Baba, although he appeared totally unknowing and upset and how dare you come, obviously he knew all along, because you never knew that until just about a year, maybe 8 months or a year ago, when we found out about this, that Baba had said this to Chanji, "How will Erich manage?" So he actually knew all along.
Did Papa Jessawala get reprimanded by Baba?
I
doing this.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Something must have happened. My
So
dad-
did... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
My dad was quite outspoken and would have said that I felt very concerned about my family. And what about you? You just stay here and leave them there or something like that.
Oh, so he wouldn't have trouble speaking his mind even to Baba?
Huh?
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. He was quite forthright.
So I can see why Erich was not... I mean, it's good to hear this, because I know when Baba said for Erich to come, and he said it was the one time in his life that he couldn't sleep at night because he was so concerned how the reaction of his father would be. But then he remembered, okay, anything is by your grace, so he relied on that. And then when he actually he said, well, whatever I did was for your sake.
This was when we left Nagpur.
Yeah, right. So there's just a tremendous respect he had for your father.
Yeah.
But understanding this character of your father, I can see why
Yeah.
it was a...
He was inwardly loving Baba very much,
Yeah.
but never showed it. And was very practical, down to earth.
Yeah.
And what did you do about food all that time?
What?
What did you do about food
Train?
on the train and when you were sitting 3 days at the station?
Bought food from the platforms where the train halted. Whatever was available.
And so you were in Dehradun for how many days? For a week or what?
No. We were there for quite a long time.
Oh, okay. And
I
then
was
from
entered in the school there.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see. And then from
Whenever
there you
Baba
went.
called us from one place to the other, I would have to change schools and go to another school.
And so Papa was in. Did he just happen to be in Ahmednagar, or did he come and join you people? What happened with your
Papa.
father?
Yeah, he was in Ahmednagar for some work, and then he came back to Dehradun.
Oh, okay. So
Is this the story where your father had sold the estate in order to join Baba, where all of you came to join Baba?
Yeah.
no.
No?
That came early.
That's what
That
he
came
was.
early.
That's what he was saying.
42.
Yeah, he was talking.
That's
38
what.
was when
See, it was later when Baba told Erich to come. That was a later time.
Yeah.
What year
What?
was that?
That was earlier
that was-
time.
Oh, it was earlier time. Oh, it already happened.
That's the first time.
1938.
Oh, that had happened.
That was in
already.
38, I think.
That
Oh,
was
I
in
see.
38,
He
because
called-
Baba told the
Oh,
family
okay.
to.
You got all mixed up.
Yes, I did. so even after your father said, "Okay, it's all for you," but he was still
Yeah.
as he was.
Were there any other times that Papa signed telegrams pretending to be Baba?
That was the okay. Once is enough.
Meherwan, but talking about Papa, you should tell them the funny story about how Baba sent some of the Mandalay, I guess Gustaji and whoever else, to be under Papa. Remember that period of time where Papa was the
Come
manager
on,
and they
tell
had
it
to-
loudly.
I forget where it is that this took place, but Baba sent some of the Mandalay.
Is it Panchgani?
No, it wasn't Panchgani.
It was near Nasik.
Near Nasik somewhere.
There's a steep mountain called
Yeah, it was a mountain.
Ankai.
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 Yeah.
It's
Ankai, huh?
quite a steep hill, a few miles outside Nasik. And Baba had sent leader, Pendu, Gustaji, and
Baidu?
Babadas. His name was Babadas. 4 of them, and to stay with Appa up on the hill. And he had quietly instructed Papa that you put them under a very strict discipline and make life really uncomfortable for them. So my dad took great pains to do that.
Maybe a little pleasure too.
Sadistic pleasure. He had to do it as a duty entrusted to him by Baba. So the regime that he explained to the 4 of them, he says, now you people have been given charge under me and you have to obey me. Whatever I say you have to do.
Wow.
Follow. He was quite stern with them. These are Baba's instructions and I have to carry them out. So I'll tell you the routine that we have to follow now. All of us will have to get up at 2 in the morning.
Oh my God.
And wash up and have breakfast and all that by 5 o'clock or something. And then after that they were given whatever duties they had to perform by Baba they were doing. And he said that lunch would be served at I think 9 o'clock in the morning. It will be lunchtime. And at 1 o'clock it will be dinner time. And at 2 o'clock all must go to bed.
Oh my God.
In the afternoon. So nature's clock was reversed. And such crazy things we made them do that and he was doing various other things to bring them into to their nerves. So eventually Gustaji tells Pendu that today you write a letter to Baba and let him know that Gustaji has spent his life serving 3 perfect masters and 1 avatar. And in his lifetime, he has never had such a discipline, such crazy people over him. If Baba didn't call us back immediately, I will leave Baba and have nothing to do with him and go away. I've had enough of this. I can't take it anymore. What? Total exasperation.
But what was going on for your dad that he did that? Was he like that when he raised you kids?
No, Baba had asked him to do crazy things.
Well, Baba told him to do all those crazy things? Oh.
He didn't tell them specifically. He said, make their life miserable.
Baba worked like that indirectly with many people. He would make others do crazy things with the rest.
So he was under Baba's orders doing that?
Yeah.
Oh.
What else? Otherwise, you think they would follow him?
I thought maybe your dad was just a little eccentric.
So then what? So then Gustaji didn't leave him.
Baba received that letter. Baba had a mighty big laugh. All the Mandali had a good laugh. He recounted in the letter, he gave all the description of what was going on. And Baba was amazed at what Papa was doing. He was exceeding his brief as it. Then he sent a telegram that they should all come back. Their indoctrination was enough. The training was quite sufficient.
So they finally were members. They had joined the army.
Yeah, some work he had. Yeah, this was the wartime.
Ah, well, maybe that's what it was. All this war training was big.
Yeah. During those war years, Baba was working very frantically, contacting monks and saints, sitting in seclusion, extended period of fasting, intense activity, and traveling in those terribly overcrowded trains for contacting monks. It was a nightmare for the few people who accompanied Baba. The amount of problems we had traveling, we have a slight idea of how it was. It even got worse then. And Baba never traveled light. There was a mound of luggage, and the one who had been given charge of that was to take great care that not a single package is lost. So that's how they traveled to contact these masks.
Well, speaking of lost luggage, did you ever get your baggage back?
Yeah, eventually it was traced. it had gone to Lucknow or something. From there, it was shunted back to Dehradun. And at that time, Baba had decided to go back south.
Right.
So it just arrived in time.
Okay.
We got back the baggage.
So in the meantime, you were wearing blouses.
Yeah, it was just that and my shirt that I was wearing.
So people must have said you were very cute, I guess.
God knows what they said. I was oblivious of any remarks. I was a young fellow.
How old were at that time?
12 years.
Well, you were old enough to be.
But 12 years of that time are not children like now.
Oh, I see.
They were not so smart and
Right.
they were so different from the modern age now.
So, were you small enough to get to the window?
What?
Were you small enough to get to the window of the train?
Yeah.
So,
They didn't have bars on the trains some days.
My mother and sister, they were big enough, they too all had to be pushed in.
They didn't have the bars that you see on the trains
they
now.
were open windows.
Huh?
You know, nowadays they have bars.
No,
that you
there was
can't.
no
In
bars,
those days, there
nothing,
were
just
no
a
bars.
glass window.
Yeah.
But, and a wooden shutter that you could pull down. And then you could be out, you could be all inside the compartment and shut off from outside. Those days trains were very rudimentary, you know. Third class compartments were just wooden seats.
Yeah, there was no padding or nothing.
Nothing.
I remember when we came, it was also like that.
Wooden
But
seats, yeah.
they were just wooden planks.
Yeah.
Like slats.
Yeah.
So yours were slats. Well, we were more luxurious in the early days. We had actual planks.
Oh.
Weren't they slats? Weren't they slats?
No, they weren't slats. I
Were
don't.
they planks?
They were planks. They were, but there was no padding on them.
Oh, maybe it was because the first time I came, there was no seats and
I was bundled up on the
On the luggage.
luggage.
Luggage racks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the luggage carrier on the top.
Oh, I see, seats.
Well, actually, in those days, that's why everyone had to carry their bedding rolls because there was
Yeah.
nothing. So
Yeah.
you don't see people going around with bedding rolls too much anymore because even second class,
Yeah.
third class has got those
Those
some
are
padding.
Mattress.
old time relics now.
Yeah.
Meherwan, you didn't, I don't think you mentioned it, but not only did they not travel light, because everything had to be taken with them, but a large proportion of the luggage that had to be looked after by whoever was in charge of the luggage was Gustaji's stacks of rubbish and newspaper and string and all tied up, which also followed them around when they
Yeah.
went.
That he would pick up on the road.
Yeah, he would pick it up on the road and keep it. And I remember Eric telling one story where Vishnu was in charge of the luggage, and there was so much luggage to see to for them. And of course, it was always crowded, and there was always a rush to get on and to get Baba through, and all this was going on. And he just reached his boiling point, and all the luggage he's trying to get on, and Gustaji is picking up more and more rubbish to make, bundles for him to have to take care of. And finally, Vishnu starts throwing, and he says, "I've had it," and he starts throwing all the rubbish off the train and all the baggage, and Baba made him bring it all back on, and it's all stuffed up. But in the meantime, Gustaji was very old, and so he would have to piddle every now and again. And while this whole drama is going on, and Baba's making Vishnu bring everything back into their tiny little area, Gustaji had gone into the toilet. And while he's in the toilet, they're trying to get everything on the train, so they stuff all the luggage up along, the wall of the compartment. And then the train goes, and all of a sudden Baba says, "Where's Gustaji?" She's looking for Gustaji, can't find Gustaji. Then he asks the other mandali are looking. finally, Eric just about Baba, I don't know. He doesn't seem to be here. Maybe we forgot him at this last station. Oh, a message will have to be sent. You know, all this drama is going on. And all of a sudden, Baba is annoyed because he hears this, you know, tap, 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 tap. He can't figure out, what is this? Da, 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 da. And it turned out, Eric just listening and listening. And he goes, it seems to be behind the luggage, Mom. We're like, stop it, you know. So now Eric's is trying to move all the luggage away from the wall to find out what the tap tap is. And it turned out behind all the luggage, which like must have been a mountain up the wall, was actually the door to the toilet. And Gustachi had got caught inside the toilet. He got locked in, and then the luggage went on top. Yeah. He was silent, that's right. Gustachi was silent.
Oh, that's right,
so
yeah.
He couldn't say anything.
Gustachi was silent. He was not allowed to touch money.
No, they weren't collecting the garbage, but Gustachi had an order by Baba. He could never do any work. But what he was allowed to do was he could pick up paper, newspaper, and what he would do is he would collect it all, and then he would send it when they were here in Ahmednagar to Eric's sister Nehru, who would, you know, in India there's people who you send all the old newspapers and trash and all, and you get a little money back. And then he would get money back for all this that he collected, and with that money he would buy sweets. And Eric said, and Eric said sometimes he would even occasionally on a bus trip dole out a sweet to each of them. But he had a sweet tooth and he would do that.
But Meherwan just said that he wasn't allowed to touch money.
No.
So how did he do?
Because his sister
He
would
sent
get
it
the
to my
money.
sister here
Yeah.
to sell
They
the
would give him
scrap
the
and
sweets.
buy sweets
Yeah,
for him.
buy him the sweets.
She would buy the sweets.
She would buy
So,
sweets and cheese,
cheese.
his favorite.
Meherwan, when Erich told us the story of the whole family originally coming to Baba, Baba had asked to bring the car.
Yeah.
And Erich didn't bring the car right away. I don't remember what happened, but someone was using it. And Baba waited and waited. Finally, Baba said, and where is the car? And Erich
That
answered,
was the first thing.
that was the first time, yeah.
Right when he walked in, Eric wasn't there 2 minutes
Yeah,
before
so
Baba
where's the
says,
car?
so have you brought the
Oh,
car?
it happened right away.
Yeah.
Oh, it happened right
Totally.
away.
I remember the answer. And then Baba said, Erich said, no, we were not able to bring it right away. And Baba said, now you have put a blemish on my heart, which will last until the very end. And then Erich said to us,
Scar.
Scar.
Scar on
a scar?
Scar,
A
yeah.
scar on my heart,
Dog ate it.
which will last until the very end. And then Erich sort of said in a resigned way to everyone, and so it
Erich
began.
felt proud that he had
arranged
achieved the, almost the impossible thing of coming on the 1st of August,
Uh-huh.
1938, disposing of everything, and he had managed to do it. With that thought, he came before Baba, and that's how Baba just put him in his place. That it wasn't you that did it. He left the car because Papa said I have to. He had some allowed time to join later, and he said I have to do a lot of touring, so let the car be here, and I'll bring it along. And that's what Erich told Baba. So Baba says, could you not have brought the car as per my orders? Then I would have sent it back. It was as easy as that. So Baba was insisting upon obedience from the very first day, first hour of his stepping into Baba's presence. Obedience was all that was necessary. Implicit obedience. That was life with Baba. Leaving everything to him. All right. There was Maya who wanted to
Yes, about manifestation, please.
what? What to say?
Well, Maya is the medium of Baba's manifestation, isn't that right?
In Balnata's book, he considers the avatar period as starting in 1954. And everyone else seems to think it was after Baba dropped the body. Have you any thoughts about what you remember from all the meetings in Mandalay Hall, Baba, and so on?
I don't remember anything and I don't think about it. All I just think about is obeying Baba, following his orders and wishes, and loving him as best as I can. By loving him means living a life that would please him. And I don't pay attention to all this, whether he broke his silence, whether he manifested or not. It just doesn't concern me. There's no thought for that. And that's what he wants us to do. There are many arguments about whether Baba broke his silence or not. He said he would break it with his physical mouth. So what was that? Who is going to interpret all this? You cannot understand the one who is beyond understanding. If you ever try to do that, you would be all muddled up. Just learn to love him and serve him. It's time for us to go, the bellboy is saying. The bellboy.
So it's time to leave the hotel. The bellboy is coming to take our salmon.
Yeah.